Hello everyone, this is Tim, and today's video is going to be about this composition book that I started doing for solo role-playing, or just like solo solitaire type play. And then it sort of morphed into a random tables book, and these are tables that I've seen on blogs and in the back of like the Dungeon Master's guides from various editions, and it's I don't know, it's kind of a fun little project, maybe something that you might want to do yourself. But yeah, this is an oracle here. There's like a likelihood modification, and then there's like a d20. It's like yes and no, yes and, that kind of thing, random events. Here's just a bunch of tables, and I have like 2d30 I think for these. Just basically just like make up these little tables with different ideas on how to generate like new concepts, and just to see, basically this book is like what's useful, what could I use in a solo campaign or in just a regular campaign if I want ideas or GM prep. Like for instance, here's a table of NPC professions that gets from the AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide. I also have just tables of synonyms. Like this is danger, and there's a D100 terms for danger, like distress and misadventure. It's really just a way for me to jumpstart my creative muse, which tends to be very all or nothing. Here's more NPC things, and it's very haphazard. I have things like beside each other that aren't categorized, just because that's how my thinking, and I'm just not a very organized person. NPC alignments, classes. This is a BRP skill results table for like criticals and special effects and fumbles. I just thought that was kind of cool. These are a bunch of traps. There's 100 of these. Just different ideas on, what I could throw into a session, or if I was doing like a dungeon crawl solo adventure, I could do some of these things, like loud sounding pipes, buoyant floor over water, just different things. Idle with poison gas. Here's the resistance table from BRP, where you have like one stat on the top here and another one here, and you cross-reference them, and that's the number you'd roll on a D100. I really like D100 systems. Here's the old 2d6 reaction table. Here's some encounter tables, different monsters and so forth. Combat summary from BRP. And my first solo campaign was BRP, so that's why there's a lot of those in here. Different types of armor. I think that's from AD&D. Okay, here's another oracle. And oracles are important for solo play because it pushes the story into areas and just places that you wouldn't normally go to. It's a way to surprise yourself, add a little bit of excitement. So I have spades, clubs, diamonds, and hearts. Joker 1 is life, Joker 2 is death. Just an example, like we have power, gain, health, freedom, competition, mediocrity, I think it's humiliation, loss, arrogance, defeat, change, vulnerability, and victory. So again, you just flip some cards, reference them here, get some ideas for what you get to like try to incorporate into a session. Here's 100 adventure ideas, and I think that kind of just goes off in the next few pages on that side. We have some weather, locals, how are they acting in response to the weather, research times. Here's length, like for a day, several days, how long this weather's lasting. So, and I kind of like to just doodle and just like do hash marks and things between the tables if I can. So we got curses, major ones, feeble, minor, and curses, holy crap. Those are the intense ones. Yeah, more D100 things over here, adventures. We have some useful items. We got D12 colors. What do you get when you loot a goblin? These are wild magic surges. I think that might be from AD&D first. We got different types of breath weapons, undead abilities, and some of these are pulled from like Dungeons and Dragons 3.0, 3.5. What are these now? Here's more magic surges, and I kind of the downside of using a composition book is that like this came out of a 2-column format in AD&D, but yeah, it doesn't really fit. So sometimes I'll put like little tables in here. It's sort of like haphazard layout that I do, but I like to try to fill all space if possible. Eventually, strange stones and megaliths, monster motivations, which is kind of like the 2d6 like BX reaction table, just a little different. Character age and expenses are good. Maintenance and so forth. Just ways to use some of that ill-begotten gold. We have character motivations. I can't remember where I got this from. Sources of motivation. Yeah, just different things, different titles, and living expenses again. I think that's probably class and so forth. We got some gems and magical properties of herbs and gems. And here's more just synonyms. So we have bad, and there's just all kinds of different terms for that. We have some horse traits. This might have been from the Dragon Magazine article on horses. I can't remember. There's horse quality. Now, I think this would be fun to do if like you're getting a new horse in town. What else we got here? Secondary skills. This is basically like older AD&D again. Just a way to describe your character, like what kind of professions you had. Chance of parasitic infection. Always a good time. And there's the parasitic infestation table. We got some different types of swords. All kinds of swords here. Pole arms. What we got on this side? Becoming lost, which is fun. And then a procedure for that. And again, this is AD&D, I believe. Here's a bunch of axes. See, I've started to do more of that like hatch stuff. And I don't know, I love the way it makes the paper feel too. It's like rippled. Add some character. We got disease or disorder, chance of contracting it, different types of diseases. More descriptive words, because I don't know if you are like me, but sometimes I need some prompting on different words that I can use. So we have like amazing, good, happy, nice, kind, delicious, and just lots of synonyms. Basically, I just went to like a synonym and antonym table online and just started writing down everything I could think of, or everything that I saw. I think this is from Fantasy. Oh, what is that called? I want to say Fantasy Quest, but that's not right. It was a D20 game, and they had these on the bottom of not every, but I think of the chapter headings. So I make photocopies and then I pasted those in. We got some story seeds. There's 20 different types of sites that you could use. I think these are from Red Tide. So that's a great system. Setting, I guess. Some more synonyms: bad, small, rich, love, funny, fast, big, ask, bring, make, choose, find. And yeah, these are good too for just if you're like having some writer's block, just kind of roll on these, just put different ones together and see what those words make you think. We have wild magic, fantasy craft. That's what this is from. Yeah, fantasy craft. Court conflicts. Again, that's from Red Tide. Sorry if this is not focusing for some reason. More synonyms. Number of languages someone knows. And yeah, I think it's almost like a house rule there, I think. Yeah, I really need to spend more time on blogs and just look at all these random tables on there. Types of poisons. Recovering from intoxication. City site encounters from Red Tide. This is some Tecmo stuff, which I really should do some Tecmo solo stuff, just to kind of get more familiar with the setting. Like your parents, siblings, spouses, children. I think this is from the Sitting Amongst Friends Tecmo blog. Your clan status, and here's some businesses and so forth that are in Tecmo cities. Got some naval terminology, which would go well with that AD&D book that I got of ships in the sea. I really need to spend more time thinking about those kind of campaigns. And rumor tables, because those are fun. And there's like 3 different pages of those, up to 100. And what do we have on here? We have some plot. That's from Fantasy Craft. Again, it's real easy to just pick one of these and just run with it. Especially if you're improvising. You got more plot. And while I like photocopying and pasting it because you get more information in there, for some reason I enjoy the aspect of getting a pen, writing, kind of doodling on the edges here, in my chicken scratch handwriting. It just makes it feel like I'm putting more of myself into the book. Maybe I'm like Sauron. I started going through Arduin recently, so this is random magical, the Matrix, and I guess I forgot to finish that. That's good to know. It goes to like 10, I think. We have a card oracle here, and I believe this came from like a box set. There's like an Amazon, Commoner, Dwarf, Elf, Fighter, Sorceress, and Wizard, and they mean different things. We got some gunpowder fumble table for like Renaissance era Lamentations of the Flame Princess. The gods must be crazy, because that's fun. Never know what they're going to be up to, like meteor storms. Days and nights are now 6 hours each only. We got some terrain types. Cost for weekly and monthly wages for different folks, like military groups. And again, I just have like blank pages that are waiting for stuff to go in there. More encounter reactions, random encounter distance. That, I believe, is from 2nd edition AD&D. 100 traits, and I think that might be from AD&D. More personality traits, like optimistic, pessimistic, sober. And they have like smaller ones here, like off of that, like sub ones. Personality traits. Got a deck